and you can get rid of this in 3 years. Now, this deals with your roads, and this does too. Now, let me tell you this. I said a minute ago, I am adamantly against raising your taxes. We have got to find a way to not completely kill the patient. Now, look what happens. 3 years, this goes away. 3 years, this goes away. I'll tell you about this in just 1 second. Now, I want to tell you one last thing. My goal, Jim Justice's goal as your governor, is to do one thing, and that is to be the 8th state in this country with no income tax. None. Now that's my goal. I hate like crazy to deliver to you what you have to do. That's my goal. Now, remember I said what I said about a half a penny. What would you rather do? Would you rather have your school plummeted even more, your seniors just forgotten, your vets forgotten, your parks closed, Fairmont State shut down, on and on and on? Or would you be willing as a peoples to say, I'm willing to pay a half a penny more, and I'm willing as a business to step up and pay 0.2%, because I love West Virginia and we're going somewhere. Now listen here. If you pay 10 cents or more for gasoline and a little bit more on your DMV fees, that's going to turn into this. Here's what it's going to do. It will turn into $2.8 billion. Now just stay with me. I have 4 wonderful people back here, and I want you to understand wholeheartedly what your 10 cents and almost nothing in DMV fees that haven't been raised in 40 years. Think about it. Almost nothing I am asking you to do to turn into that. And then let me show you what we can do. Y'all bring this on down. Now with us tonight is Kevin Cole, Andy Estep, Brooke Rumball, and Cody Webb. Brooke and Cody are students studying engineering at Marshall and WVU, and Andy and Kevin already work with us in highways. If you'll do this, you see those jobs? You see them? We can let every single road job that is on the books for 1 to 3 and 3 to 5 years tomorrow. We can let them all tomorrow. Think what this would do. Just imagine what it'll do. I'll tell you what it'll do. It'll create 48,000 jobs in our state. 48,000 jobs. It'll complete the network that we have got to do. It will make tourism explode in this state. Honest to Pete, this is the 800-pound gorilla in the room, not me. Now, there's 2 other things I want to do, and I'm going to sit because I'm sweating too much. I want to bid every one of these road jobs specifically labor intensive. And you know what I want to do from that? I want it to be our training ground. I want it to be our apprenticeship program. I want it to be something that will absolutely put our displaced miners that find a job here or our young people that learn how to do something here. It's an opportunity. Now let me tell you what else I want to do. For all the successful bidders, I want to charge them a 5% construction, severance, whatever tax it may be, whatever you want to call it, to the successful bidder only. And my bet is people like me in business will sharpen your pencils like crazy, and it won't cost us the 5%. It may cost us 1%. And then you know what I want to do? I want to pool that money. That money right there is $2.4 billion. If I could let every job tomorrow, it would amount to $120 million of 5% pool that I would have. And then you know what I want to do with it? I want to fix the drug problem. If we don't fix the drug problem in this state, it will cannibalize you. We have to have stiffer laws. There's no question whatsoever a drug pusher that rolls in here, you guys can roll. A drug pusher that rolls in here from Detroit and selling drugs, he ought to know that this is not going to be a fun program if we catch him. We absolutely have to have a pathway to get our people that are hooked on these terrible drugs back into the community of the workforce. We have to do something with all the prescription drugs, no question whatsoever about that. But we have to have treatment facilities too. I would propose today, if we do this and those dollars flow, I would propose immediately building a facility in Charleston, one in the Eastern Panhandle, and I know the veterans are waiting on the dollars to come from the firework tax and everything to build their facility in Beckley, and I'd like to skim off some of this money to help them be able to get that facility built. Let me go to education. Guys, I'm a coach. I'm in the school all the time. We've proven how to be dead last. If you'd have gone around with me and had these round table discussions and listened, just listened. You see, that's what I did. And I just listened. You got a bunch of really, really sad, unhappy campers. So, I think we need gigantic education reform. Here's what I would do. I would submit a bill, and I will immediately, to eliminate any of the unnecessary bureaucracies that we have. We have got to return education back as much as we possibly can to a local level. I have put in my budget a 2% raise for all classroom teachers, and I am ashamed that we can't do more. Now, as far as testing, we are testing our kids teetotally to death. For what? I mean, here's the bottom line. Think about it. If we were knocking it out of the park, you see, I'm all results oriented. If we were knocking it out of the park, you could argue with me we're doing the right thing. For crying out loud, we're dead last. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. We got to be doing something wrong. That's all there is to it. As far as the testing goes, I am going to propose we throw Smarter Balance in the trash can and we go to an ACT testing. let me show you this. Think about A through F for our schools. We do it on a bell curve. Think about this. Who in the world comes up with this stuff? These get an A. These get an F. All the big meat and potatoes get a C. And we call out to the world and say, come to West Virginia. Our schools are mostly all C's. I don't get it. That's got to go. A through F is gone. Now, there's a beautiful lady here somewhere. Her name is Toni Poling. She's our Teacher of the Year. If she would stand, she teaches at Fairmont State. Now also, wherever they are, the beautiful lady Leah Curry, who is the West Virginia president of Toyota, and the gentleman Jim Fawcett of Highmark is here somewhere that made all that possible as well. Thank you. Let me tell you this. I've said throughout the campaign, I said education can be a revenue producer for us, and everybody looks at me like, well, how in the world? There's no way. There's no way. Everybody wants to go where your kids are going to be educated the best. Businesses want to go where your kids are going to be educated the best. We got good teachers. We got low crime. We got good people. For crying out loud, we handcuff them in every way coming or going. We got to stop that. And listen here. Maybe it's a twist of words on revenue producers, but if we could create an education mecca in West Virginia, honest to people would come and you couldn't beat them away. It would be a revenue producer. Now, I have to say, Jim Justice is no fan of consolidation. Again, I'll just tell you this, and I'll ask you, are we this bad? Are we this desperate? You know, tell you what we could do. We could close every school in the state to save us some money, except we could have one. And we could have just one somewhere close to Charleston, and we'll bus every kid 4 hours, no more than 4 hours, one way. We're not that bad. We just have to have ideas, and we got to have hope. Now, I truly mean this. One of the flood-ravaged towns that I truly believe is coming back, and I can see it just like I can see it tomorrow. I hope and pray that we end up with a school in Richwood. Now, let me tell you this. Our veterans are phenomenally important. They've given everything to us, haven't they? Everything. Do we really take care of them? I mean, for crying out loud, we can't even maintain their cemetery. We got to do better.